come along with us for a 2-week vacation in Albania. We started out days 1 and 2 with a lot of travel. It took us over 24 hours to get here with some airport delays, but finally we made it on day 3. We spent the night in Shkodër, which is about 2 hours from the airport. We just spent the day here exploring, trying to settle in to the country. The next morning we got up and we took a bus to get on a ferry at Komani Lake. This is one of our favorite spots in the entire trip. The mountain views here were just unreal. It's hard to even put into words how big and beautiful those mountains are. We stayed 2 nights on the lake at a place called Twin Villas. It was way out in the middle of nowhere, super peaceful and quiet. We spent the evening there just kayaking and exploring. And the next morning we took a ferry to Shallow River, which is about 45 minutes away. Some very cold water, but super blue and clear. And it was a great spot to hang out for the day and relax. We ate some pretty good food here as well. And then the next day we got up and took a ferry and bus ride to the town called Valbonne. This is the town where you start the hike from Valbonne to Teth. We just stayed the night here and kind of got prepared for the hike the next day. Here we are that morning. We started at 6 a.m. for the 10-mile hike. It's supposed to take about 6.5 hours. It is actually a pretty strenuous hike. So we got our bags transported by a car. It actually takes about 5 or 6 hours by car to get to the next town, even though we're hiking there and it only takes about 6.5 hours on foot. They do have horses that make this route every day to bring different deliveries to places along the route. We had to make it all the way up to the summit. It took us probably about 3 or 4 hours to get there, but the view was definitely worth it. You can see right here, it's just amazing. I mean, the video just doesn't even do it justice either, how beautiful the view is and how high we're up in the air. I definitely recommend taking that hike if you come to Albania. The rest of that day we kind of relaxed and got up the next morning to do a short hike to the Blue Eye in Teth. It's only about 1.5 miles long. You can see here there's a beautiful waterfall that flows into this super cold pool. It's about 45 degrees year round. I got in a couple of times. Kirsten got in as well, but it was probably the coldest water I've ever been in my life. I mean, it shocks you right away and takes your breath away. There was some people doing some cliff jumps from behind the waterfall. We were not brave enough to try that, but if we come back, maybe I'll give that one a go. We spent the rest of that night just exploring the town. There's this very old church here, super beautiful, and we spent the rest of the night just recovering and relaxing. And we stopped for some dinner, and the views are just 360 all around you, crazy mountain views. The next day we got up and headed back to Shkodër to rent a car. We had this car for the last week of the trip. Here we are driving to Berat. You can see there's some castles along the way. We stopped in Berat for the night. This is a very unique town with some very interesting architecture. We just enjoyed walking the streets and just enjoying the views here. We stayed in one of those houses on the hillside there. To get to our room, it was quite the walk up, lots of stairs, lots of twists and turns, but eventually we did get to our room. Our host was very welcoming for the night, and this was a very cool spot to stay. Our host greeted us with a fruit tray and some drinks, and you can see out the window here the view that we had for the night. It's a great view of the city. We also had a river that flowed through there as well. We just explored the city that night, got some coffee, tried a crepe, I actually developed food poisoning that night and was pretty sick for a day or two, but we continued on our journey the next day to Hamara, which is a pretty popular beach town. We stayed here for the night after a long drive, and we got up the next morning and drove to another beach called Cape. We stayed here for 4 nights for the rest of our trip. It's a very quiet beach town, kind of at the end of a little town. Very quiet, very quaint. The water was beautiful and clear. Our hotel was beachfront, and we were within seconds of being on the beach from our room. We spent the next day here just relaxing and enjoying the beach, working on our suntans. The beaches here are pebbles, which was not my favorite. It's very painful on the feet. So it was quite the journey just to get to the sand in the water. But the next day we got up and drove back to Hamara to do a boat tour. This was a very cool experience. We got to explore some caves and private beaches that you can only access by boat. The water here was just so blue. I mean, the video kind of does it justice of how blue and turquoise it is. It was just so clear, and the water felt really good. We got to swim through the caves, which was a very cool experience. And we got to spend the day hanging out on some of the private beaches. I would definitely recommend this excursion. We headed back to Cape for our last day at the beach, and we just took it easy and relaxed. And the next day we got up and drove back to Tirana, which is the capital city. We were very tired, so we didn't do a lot in the city, but driving in the city was very crazy, and I was actually stressed out. The last day, we got up real early at 3 a.m. to catch our flights back home. Our overall rating of the trip, scenery was a beautiful 10 out of 10. The experience, 7 out of 10, just because it's a little bit inconvenient to get to some places. You have to take lots of different ferries and boat routes, and the roads were not the best. And besides that, the food, only a 5 out of 10, not my favorite, but overall the trip was definitely worth it, and I recommend it to anybody looking for a cheaper European vacation. It would be a good idea to hop on it now, because I would say in the next 10 years or so it will be very popular because they are growing in their tourism. That's it for this video. Let us know where we should go next on our adventure. Thank you so much for watching.